Hello, and welcome to Voices in Education. I am your host, Natasha Lee. Hello and welcome. Welcome if you're just tuning in. Welcome to another live. So, we want to have a conversation or just to get some updates about Hurricane Idalia, what's happening in Florida. So, if you're in communication with friends and family members, I would love to hear from you. You can phone the WhatsApp number that is on your screen there. Please remember to give this video a like as well. And let's share. Would love to hear from you, and especially if you're tuned in from Florida, would love to hear what is happening right there, right now. But let me just say welcome to KJ and Melody. Welcome to another live discussion. We're happy to have you here. And for sure, we would love to hear from you. So if you'd like to participate in this conversation, you can share in the live chat or you can call the WhatsApp number that you see on screen. Whichever method you're more comfortable with, that is totally okay. And just remember that this is a safe space where we can share and learn from each other. So again, once you join this live, please hit that like button. If you're new to this space, please hit that subscription button as well. All right, so I just want to share some updates that I am seeing in the news. And again, I would love to hear from you if you're in contact with friends or family members there in Florida, or if you are there, I would love to hear from you. So based on some updates, a lot of persons, right, were without electricity, flights canceled. And so we can just imagine. So what I'm seeing here, I'm going to try and read this for you. Hurricane Idalia made landfall Wednesday, so I guess this morning in Florida, as a Category 3 storm and unleashed devastation along a wide stretch of the Gulf Coast, submerging homes and vehicles, turning streets into rivers, and downing power lines in an area that has never before received such a storm. 2 persons lost their lives in weather-related car crashes along Florida's Gulf Coast, according to the Florida Highway Patrol. In one incident in a county, a 40-year-old male lost his life after losing control of a Ford Ranger and colliding with a tree. In another county, a 59-year-old male driving a Toyota Tacoma crashed into trees in extremely rainy conditions, and again lost his life here, according to the Highway Patrol. So as expressed a bit earlier, several persons were without electricity as rushing water covered streets near the coast. As the eye moved inland, destructive winds shredded signs, sent sheet metal flying, and snapped tall trees. Downed power lines closed northbound Interstate 75. All right. So again, we can see, or we can hear, at least understand some of the devastating effects of Hurricane Idalia. So I am just doing a check-in, and I know that we have some community members from Florida. So I'm just doing a check-in to find out how you're doing, or if you have family members or friends in that state, we would love to hear from you. All right. So again, you can phone the WhatsApp numbers that you see on screen, or you can share there in the live chat. All right. And what I am seeing here as well is that it remains, so Idalia remained a hurricane as it crossed into Georgia, all right, with top winds of 150 kilometers per hour. So again, if you're in Georgia as well, we would like to hear from you. All right, so definitely, and we are wondering if that means it's going to go across to the Carolinas as well. So we just want to know what is happening. So if you have friends or family members there, we'll definitely love to hear from you. And you can share in the chat. So if you're not here on this live stream, you can also share in the chat and let us know what is happening. All right, so please stay tuned. Hello again and welcome if you're just tuning in. I am hoping to hear from you if you're there in Florida or if you have received updates from friends and family members there as it relates to Hurricane Idalia. I would definitely like to hear from you. So we have gotten some news here that two persons lost their lives, okay, and also, some of the other devastating impact there of Idalia. So, for example, persons were without electricity, streets are flooded, and so that is important for you in terms of some updates there. Previously, I mentioned that, you know, the landfall was made on Wednesday, so this morning in Florida as a Category 3 storm, and again unleashed devastation along a wide stretch of the Gulf Coast, submerging homes and vehicles, turning streets into rivers, and downing power lines, all right? And this is in an area that has never before received such a storm. All right, so we're sending, all the best that we can to persons who are experiencing this, or experiencing, the aftermath or what is happening right now from Idalia. And so we want to send you our best wishes, and we want to say keep safe because that is important. Ensure that you're prioritizing your safety and listen to the officials, listen to the warnings, heed, and if you have to leave, please do so. All right. So that is important. We're also seeing here in the news where Hurricane Idalia is making way to Georgia, right? And so we're seeing that it has crossed into Georgia with top winds of 150 kilometers per hour. All right, so we are wanting the best for persons there in Georgia as well. So what I'm going to say is that again, we want to listen and respond to warnings, and if we get an evacuation order, we want to ensure that we are responding to that by moving. All right, so that's updates there. Those are some updates for you, and I'm just doing some checks to see if there are any further updates. So what I'm seeing here is that the utility workers are working to restore power in areas hit by the storm. All right, so we're seeing that update there as well. And that the counties that have the most outages were in the main pathway of the storm. So would like to hear from you, and it is being reported that restoration efforts started, and I guess it will continue as soon as it is safe to do that. So I guess that's a part of it too. Again, safety is important. But I guess the outage in terms of the number of outages could continue to rise, but so will the number of outages resolved. So I believe this is from your governor there, giving that update there based on what I'm reading here from the news. And Tampa Airport said it will reopen to inbound flights Wednesday afternoon at 4 p.m. ET. So Tampa Airport is planning on reopening this afternoon at 4 p.m. ET. And it will be fully reopened, including departing flights early Thursday, all right? So officials reported a small amount of flooding on Wednesday morning, but said it did not impact the runways, all right? So again, welcome if you're just tuning in. Welcome. I would love to hear from you. If you're there in Florida, you can share in the chat. If you're connected to friends and family members there and you have received updates from them, we would love to hear from you as well. You can share in the chat or you can call the WhatsApp number on screen. If you're watching after this live ends, you can definitely share in the chat. And we're seeing, as we mentioned, that Hurricane Idalia crossed over there into Georgia, right? And I guess it's threatening, there's that flooding is anticipated there based on the winds and the rain. And we're seeing that Florida will continue to receive this lashing until further in this evening, Wednesday evening, all right? So again, if you have heard from friends and family members, please let me know. Trending sports and entertainment, hello and welcome. Welcome to the chat. And again, so far, okay, just join, what's the latest? Okay, thanks for asking, trending sports. So based on the news so far, unfortunately, 2 persons lost their lives, all right? And we have seen that in Florida, a lot of power lines are down, so persons are without electricity. So that is happening there. Streets flooded and homes are submerged, vehicles submerged as well. So we're hoping that, persons can recover quickly from this storm. And hopefully persons are regaining electricity. Based on news, I am seeing that the restoration process has started. So hopefully, and it will continue as long as it is safe to do so, according to the governor there in Florida. And the latest that I have seen is that the hurricane has crossed over into Georgia, and they will continue to experience that until later this evening. If you're just tuning in, welcome. Welcome to this conversation. Don't be afraid to call in. This is a safe space. If you have gotten information from friends or family members, please share in the chat. If you're there in Florida, please share as well. You can phone the WhatsApp number that you see on screen and, let us know what is happening. All right. Remember to give this video a like. Hit the subscription button if you're new to this space. All right. You're welcome, Trending Sports. Thanks for asking. Would love to hear from you. What is happening in Florida? You can phone the number on screen. If you received updates from friends and family members there, then you can definitely call and share what you know. And if you're located in Florida, we would love to hear from you too. And TSC saying sad that lives were lost. Very sad indeed. We do not want to hear that. And so, we're sending all our best to friends and family there in those counties of the persons who lost their lives. All right. And again, remember that safety is important. So if you received a notice to evacuate, please do so. It is important that you are prioritizing your safety. And I would love to hear from you. So if you're in Jamaica or any other part of the world and you have experienced a hurricane or a storm, what was that like? What are some takeaways? What are some do's and don'ts? Would love to hear from you too if you'd like to share in that context. So call in and let me know. I know for many of us Jamaicans, we have experienced, hurricanes, storms. So would love to hear from you too, what are some do's and don'ts as it relates to storms and hurricanes. Welcome if you're just tuning in. We're having a conversation about Idalia, Hurricane Idalia. what's happening there in Florida. So based on the news, I have been sharing that, a lot of persons lost electricity. All right, so streets have been flooded, and unfortunately, two persons lost their lives in two counties. So, that is sad. We never want to hear that news. And again, we're sending all our best to those families and friends. So would love to hear from you. We also understand that, homes and vehicles have been submerged, and we would love to hear from you. So you can share in the chat, or you can phone the number that you see on screen, the WhatsApp number that you see on screen there. I would love to hear from you. Don't be afraid to call in and let us talk. All right, so I'm just going to go to some music, and please stay tuned. Please share and like and hit that subscription button. Hello and welcome. If you're just tuning in, we're having a conversation, or we're sharing about Hurricane Idalia, what's happening in Florida. And we shared in terms of two persons lost their lives, unfortunately. And, power lines are down, so a lot of persons were without electricity. We have also seen updates where, the restoration process is happening. All right. And so it is a hope that persons will regain electricity very soon. We also notice that homes and vehicles are submerged, and so we're sending our best wishes or best to the people there in Florida. Also, we're seeing that the system remained a hurricane as it crossed into Georgia. So let us know what is happening there in Georgia if you're tuned in from Georgia. And it is also I'm seeing from the news where forecasters said it would punish the Carolinas overnight as a tropical storm. So based on what I read, it is my understanding that Georgia will continue to feel the effect until late this evening, and then it will, as they say here in the media, it would punish the Carolinas overnight as a tropical storm. So please, if you get any warnings or any evacuation orders, please heed and leave, all right? We want to prioritize our safety. That is definitely important. So again, I would love to hear from you. If you're in Florida, Georgia, North, or I guess in the Carolinas, let me know what is happening there now. Would love to get an update. All right. So again, if you have family members or friends located in Florida or any of these states, you can, and you have received updates, you can definitely share in the chat or call if you're on the live. We will definitely love to hear from you. Again, welcome if you're just tuning in. Welcome to the Voices in Education. This is a safe space where we can share and learn from each other, all right? So don't be afraid to share in the chat, and don't be afraid to call the WhatsApp number that you see on screen, all right? So remember to give this video a like as well. Share with friends, family members, and persons who can provide us with an update even after this live ends. So you can share in the chat what is happening in Florida if you're there, what is your experience, and if you have received updates from friends and family members in Florida or the other states, you can let me know in the chat, or if you're on the live right now, you can call the WhatsApp number that you see on screen. Hello and welcome. If you're just tuning in, we're sharing updates about or from Hurricane Idalia there in Florida and what is happening in terms of this storm crossing over into Georgia. If you're located in Florida, we'll definitely like to hear from you so you can tell us, what you have experienced or is experiencing right now. If you have friends and family members who shared updates with you, would love to hear from you as well. And if you're in Georgia, or other states that will perhaps experience some of this storm, would love to hear from you as well. So what I can tell you based on the information that I have read, unfortunately 2 persons lost their lives there in Florida in 2 separate counties. We understand too that, several persons are without electricity, but restoration process is taking place. So we're hoping that persons will be regaining electricity very soon. A lot of homes and vehicles are submerged, and we understand that the storm again has crossed into Georgia. So those are the updates that I have that I can share with you at this time. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the Voices in Education community. This is a safe space where we can share and learn from each other. So I'm just going to stay on for just a few more minutes. All right, if this is your first time here, please hit that subscription button as well. So what I am going to do right now is to just go back to some music. If you'd like to share in the chat, you can definitely do that. You can also phone the number that you see on screen. All right, don't be afraid to share in the chat. You can share what family members and friends may have shared with you. We just want to get an update. And what I want to say is to ensure that you are prioritizing your safety, and we're sending our best to you. And, we hope that you'll all be okay very soon. All right. So again, just keep safe. And I'm just going to go to some music and to see if anyone else share in the chat. But in another 5 minutes, if I am not seeing any further comments or receiving a call, then we're going to just wrap up this live. All right. So again, welcome. If you're just tuning in, you can share in the live chat. You can also phone the WhatsApp number that you see on screen. And if you have experienced a storm or hurricane, would love to hear from you too. What are some do's and don'ts? What was your experience like? We would definitely like to hear from you. So I'm just going to go to some music and wait to see if I get any further comments in the chat, or if someone calls in, that would be awesome too. So stay tuned and let's see if you share any further comments or if you decide to call in. All right, so let's go back to some music. Welcome. If you're just tuning in, please give this video a like. If this is your first time here, welcome to the Voices in Education community. Please hit that subscription button as well. All right, so stay tuned, everyone. Welcome. If you're just tuning in, welcome to another live. This is a safe space where we can share and learn from each other. And we are just sharing updates from about storm or Hurricane Idalia, what's happening in Florida. And, unfortunately, two persons, lost their lives. And we have also seen information that homes and vehicles are submerged, roads are flooded, persons are without electricity. And so we're sending our best to you, and we hope that you recover soon from this unfortunate event. All right, we also understand that the storm has crossed over into Georgia. So again, we're sending our best to you. It is our understanding that this will continue there. The storm will continue there until later this evening, Wednesday evening. And it is understood that it would punish the Carolinas as a tropical storm. So again, we're sending our best to you too. And if you should get any orders to leave, please follow the orders and leave. Ensure that you're prioritizing your safety. I am not seeing any further comments in the chat, and I've not received a call. So let me just double check to see if I, for some reason, missed your call, but I am not seeing one. So let me see. I'm getting a caller here. Hello, caller, you're live.
Hello, how are you today?
Oh, good. Ruren, how are you?
I'm not doing too badly.
Awesome.
I'm
So,
just interested. Yeah, yeah. I'm just calling to say I appreciate what you're doing as it relates to this hurricane here and keeping us abreast of what is happening. You know, hurricanes aren't easy, and I'm from Jamaica, where I have experienced firsthand hurricane, and it's a scary experience. When you look outside and you see the trees dancing in the wind, and you're out of power, especially when it comes during the night. You're out of power, you're not sure what is happening.
right.
So that's crazy.
You're
And
sounding a
one
little bit
my
muffled. So I'm not sure. Persons, if you're listening, can you let me know if you're hearing the caller? You could just share that in the chat. Let me know if you're hearing.
are you hearing me now?
I'm hearing you. I'm just wondering if it is going through well. But go ahead.
Okay. So you have always been hearing me there.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Yeah.
I'm a bit clearer.
Yes, you are.
Okay. All right. Yes, so I was saying it's a really scary experience. Really scary experience, especially when it comes in the night and you're not sure exactly what is happening outside. Um, the worst, well, I've experienced more than one because Jamaica tends to be in a little path here where the storm tends to pass close by sometimes. So I've experienced a few of them, and one actually took my roof off. So that was really frightening.
Wow. So what, sorry to hear about that. And so how did you feel? How did your family feel during that time? And did you get any support in terms of replacing the roof?
I can't recall if I don't think got any support to replace the roof because it was a lot of damage that took place, and the government will prioritize who will be helped, I guess, based on the need. But it was total devastation, and the bad thing about a hurricane when it takes the roof off is that the water starts to come in and damage whatever you have inside your home. So it's it's not an easy experience during, I guess, before, during, and after, because in Jamaica, we would say that we're, the hurricane is coming, so we're going to batten up. So you mean you protect your windows and make sure your whole stop or your roof have the hurricane stops and, you know, clear the trees that are close by to your home so that they don't damage your home. And in that regard, and during it, you're not sure what to expect if the storm will be strong enough to dislodge your roof or making you have to relocate. And then afterward, you have all the assessment to do and the repairs be done. And it's not you'll never be sure if you're going to get any sort of support. So you just have to depend on yourself. So it's a really, really challenging situation,
Right.
and not the experience that everyone would like to
Totally get that. So based on your experiences, because you said you have had more than one, what would be some of the do's and don'ts as it relates to a tropical storm or hurricane?
those. So once you have to be keeping a close ear on what is happening in terms of the news broadcast. So sometimes it's dependent on the strength of the storm that will determine what your preparation is like. So if you're living in the low-lying areas, then if it is going to be a strong storm, then you might want to move away just to ensure that you're not being flooded out. So that's one thing. And if you're going to move out, you need to make sure that you're securing your valuables. And if you're moving out again, you need to move before the storm hits because you don't want to be moving in the storm because debris will be all over the place. Trees might block your roadways and you could be seriously hurt. So those are some guidelines that you could, some things that you should bear in mind. The other thing is that you should ensure that your safety comes first because if you're not safe, then whatever valuables or assets that you have won't be meaningful to you if you're dead. So you have to just make sure that you preserve life and take care of yourself. Stock up on another thing is to stock up on batteries and foods that don't have to go in the fridge, like tin food, dry stuff, so that if you don't have electricity, you're able to get something to eat, and make sure you keep keep out of the way of the storm. Make sure that whenever you are going to go outside, it's time when you're able to see and the storm has passed. And an interesting part of the hurricane is that it has an eye where it is pretty calm. So you
Right.
might have the winds going really hard and then it dies down and you think it's all well and good to go outside. But that's when you could be in danger. So you have to make sure that you're following the news updates so that you know exactly how to proceed with your plans.
For sure. And while you were sharing there, one thing that came to mind was also, having medications, if it is that, you require medication, having those secured, in a safe place where you can access them.
And yes, with you, yes, for sure, for sure.
So in terms of the experiences that you have had, were those like in the night or during the day time?
Well, we lost our roof in the night.
And you were at
We
home?
lost our roof in the night. Yes, we were at home, so
So
you
what
could see
happened?
the
So what happened? Where did you go? So that was in the storm, right? In the hurricane or
in the storm, yeah, in the middle of the storm. So what what saved us was that a part of the house was slab or deck. So the sound is not able to lift that off. So we had to take refuge in that part of the house that was
Okay.
we tried to pack away the value of the stuff that we could get before, all the water came down and damaged stuff. Because, you know, once the roof goes, the water starts running down on the wall, and anything that it comes across that is not resistant of water is going to get damaged. So we're talking about like documentations, um, devices, appliances, all of those are susceptible to the water. So that happens. And you lose a lot of stuff afterward as well because your clothes that you don't your clean clothes, let's say, gets wet and it's not going to be
Looking the
in
same
the
way.
sunlight. Yeah, you get mold and stuff on your clothes, and you will have a lot of work to do, have debris to clear, trying to get back your roof on. So you're not able to attend to everything at the same time. So you have to prioritize. So you tend to lose a lot of stuff in that regard as well.
Okay. So, given your experience there in Jamaica, would you say that, I guess, persons should consider insuring their properties?
I think so, and I think it's based on where you're living as well, because there are areas in the country that are more susceptible to the hurricane. If you're living more on the inner part of the country, it's not so bad. But if you're close to the coastline, then I think you get the brunt of the storm. But
Okay.
insurance is always a way to get back something just in case you're affected by the storm.
Okay. Wonderful. So, do you have any, thoughts that you'd like to share about what is happening in Florida in terms of perhaps best wishes and, or so forth?
Yeah, I'm hoping that the people there are taking heed to the warnings that are sent out so that they're better able to protect themselves. So self first and everything else afterwards. So that's what I would say to them. Make sure you're protecting yourself. Make sure that you're keeping safe, your family safe. Get your valuables, your documents, and so on packed away nicely, and go where you're told to go and not try to weather the storm.
Yeah, for sure. That is definitely important. And that is something that I have been, sharing since the start of this live that, if you should receive an order to leave, please heed and leave. All right. We need to be prioritizing our safety. That is important. And, unfortunately, I read in the news that two persons lost their lives in Florida, what appeared to be, perhaps they were on the road. I believe one person collided in a tree, and,
Oh boy.
so we're just saying, we just want you to be safe, and this too shall pass, but you have to ensure that you're prioritizing your safety. We also understand, Ruben, that the storm has crossed over into Georgia. So we're sending our best to Georgia as well. And it is also stated there based on, what's in the news that it would punish the Carolinas. So again, we're sending you our best and we're saying kindly ensure that I'm getting a bit of feedback from you, and kindly ensure that you're prioritizing your safety because your safety is important and we want to ensure that you're keeping safe. That is important, all right? I am just checking the chat and I am not seeing any further comments. And I believe I am going to wrap this one up. Rurian,
All right,
are you
sounds good.
still here? Oh, was just getting a really bad feedback there.
Sorry about
So
that.
so we're wrapping up this one. Do you have any final comments you'd like to make?
I guess wishing the people who are listening this all the best. Put your best foot forward by following the guidelines, and whatever happens, once you're alive, you'll be able to recover from that. Oh, and another thing for them to do is to ensure that they have their chargers or let's say their power banks and so on well charged and so on so that they can keep in touch with family members and loved ones in order to ensure that you have that state of comfort in your mind that other persons are doing pretty okay.
Yeah, and family members, please check in on persons if you have persons in these areas that might be experiencing or have experienced the storm. Please reach out and try and support them emotionally because you might be far away and not able to do that physically. So please ensure that you're reaching out to your family members and friends. So I'd like to say thank you so much for tuning in and for sharing in the chat there, and for the persons who came on and asked questions, for Rurian for calling in. And I'll see you in the next live. If you're watching this after the live ends, please you can share in the chat and provide any updates that you have about Idalia. All right, thank you so much. Blessings and keep safe, everyone. like, share, and subscribe to this channel so that you can listen to the different voices in education. Stay tuned.